Now you've seen our review on the Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive. Great car, and I loved its value and everything that it offered. But I'm here to tell you my 5 favorite things that I love about the Tesla Model 3 long range. I'm Aiden, and you're watching God Next. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, of course, going to be the electric range that you get with this car, which has improved since the last generation of Tesla Model 3. There are 2 trim levels of the long range, of course. It's going to be the rear-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive. If you didn't know that, yes, Tesla added a new trim level for the long range. But if you get the rear-wheel drive, it's going to be 363 miles of range. And if you get the all-wheel drive like this one, it's going to be 341 miles of range, which hopefully decreases your range anxiety every time you're on the road. Of course, this thing can also charge pretty quickly as well. Tesla says if you plug it into a supercharger, you'll get 175 miles of range in around 15 minutes. Now, of course, that doesn't beat walking up to the pump, pulling out the gas pump, putting in your credit card, sticking the pump inside your car, holding the handle for a minute and a half, and having all the gas you need for over 300 miles of range. Of course, gas cars are always going to be better on range anxiety and everything like that, speed even, than the Teslas. But cost, not so much. The cost of charging one of these all the way up, and I have not charged this one, but I can tell you from experience with my Model 3 Performance, which does about 303 miles of range. I only charge it to 80% because that's the recommended battery amount that you should charge it to if you're not driving on a trip. But it cost me about $20 in my area. Of course, charging rates do change based on the charger location you're at. The one I go to is 25 cents per kilowatt hour, but I pay about $20 to $25 to charge my entire car. That lasts me about an entire week. So much, much cheaper than gasoline would be, considering in some states like California, it's going to be $6 a gallon. And most cars have more than a 10-gallon tank. So you do the math there. Would you rather sit at a charger for 25 minutes, or would you rather just save 75% on your gas bill? Choice is up to you. Now, you all know that Tesla Model 3s are very safe vehicles with tons of safety sensors. Don't cue the video of Teslas running over pedestrians and hitting other cars because people aren't paying attention. But if you are paying attention while driving your Tesla Model 3, you'll know that this has plenty of sensors and safeguards on the outside of the vehicle, plenty of cameras that prevent you from getting into any accidents. Never mind the auto steer beta feature that you can get on this car or the full self-driving. This thing has plenty of cameras and sensors on the outside. You have cameras on each of the fenders. You have a sensor in the windshield. You have a camera in the back. Of course, you have sensors all over the outside of the car. If you've ever been in one of these, basically what happens if you get too close, it has a 2D map representation of what is around you. It can map people to it. It can, well, if you're in close spaces, it's a 2D map. If you're in wide open spaces, it's a 3D map where it can map cars, people, roads, things like that. But if you get into really close quarters, basically what happens is it turns the camera into a bird's eye view and does a map of basically whatever is around you to see how close you are. So it doesn't necessarily have a bird's eye view camera, but it's got a bird's eye view render of what is around you. So interesting take on that. I mean, I'd rather have it the way Tesla does it because it actually does tell you how close you are to something, which is really nice. But yeah, no bird's eye view camera. On top of that, this is also going to have things like auto stopping. What gets really annoying in terms of auto stopping is that if you don't start to slow down when the Model 3 thinks you should slow down, you're going to get a forward collision warning. If you do Tesla insurance, that can be a little concerning because Tesla's insurance company, though cheap and cheaper than most other insurance companies that will insure these cars, is that it tracks every little thing. I'm not talking just about speed. Hard braking speed, forward collision warnings, things like that. How many times you even let the auto steer or the full self-driving disconnect because you're not paying attention. So yes, even though that the safety sensors in this car are pretty cool, if you have Tesla insurance, just be careful because if you rely on those safety systems too much instead of your own eyes, what'll happen is your insurance rates will go up. So just something to keep in mind. Now, next I want to talk about is practicality. Teslas have notoriously always been very practical vehicles, especially when the fan overcomes my microphone and you can't hear me talk. But anyways, you have a frunk and a trunk in this car, totaling a total storage space of 24 cubic feet, which doesn't sound like a ton of space, but you know, for an electric car of this size, this mid-size sedan, you know, thing that they got going on here, That's not bad, and if you're looking for more storage space, go get a Model Y because that has 76 cubic feet of cargo capacity. But the fact that, let's just say you're going to the store and you need to get groceries, and you have a bunch of other stuff in your trunk, and you know what? You can just place it in the frunk. It's not air conditioned or anything like that, so don't put milk in there. But yes, you have the entire frunk to you, which is better than other electric car companies and other gas car companies that are trying to make electric cars. BMW, who doesn't have a frunk and just puts a fake plastic engine cover over an empty space under the hood. But yeah, plenty of practicality, plenty of inside room as well. You have in your center console area, you have 2 spaces where you can store literally 1-liter water bottles and close them up and everything like that. So this car is super practical if you're looking for something that can haul you around, maybe haul your kids around and store a bunch of stuff. Now, the second to last thing before we actually get in the car and start driving it that I want to talk about is going to be the way that Tesla has changed the styling for the 2024 Model 3. Let's all be honest with each other. The last one looked kind of ugly. It had those weird, large, malformed headlights. The taillights were kind of weird looking and kind of looked like they were slapped on there. The proportions overall haven't changed, but certain things have. The new headlights look much sharper than they used to, and it makes the car look quite a bit more aggressive up front than it used to. It's got that weird London taxi cab-like profile if you look at it from the front on. But regardless, if you don't look at it like that, great looking headlights. There's also new taillights that look much sharper than the last ones are, and they're connected to the full trunk lid, which means when you raise them up, it'll disconnect the whole thing. So you don't have those weird lines dividing up the taillights and the turn signals anymore. Of course, yeah, you have new rim options and everything like that. This one has the 18-inch rims equipped on it right now, but if you get a long range, you can also equip 19-inch rims on it that are a little bigger. They just won't be in black, and of course, it's got the same 5 color options that Tesla's had for the last 12 years. So red, white, black, gray, blue. 5. Now, of course, the most important part of owning a Tesla is how fast this car can accelerate. Now, Tesla claims in this car 4.2 seconds 0 to 60, and after how I saw my long range perform, I believe it. So, to give you a reference on how good it is, the long range with 1-foot rollout Tesla claims 2.9 seconds. With 1-foot rollout, when I did the test independently on my performance, it achieved 2.88. Now, of course, it's 1-foot rollout included. Without 1-foot rollout, it was like 3.1 or something like that. So it matches its performance numbers. Now, I don't have a drag gear or anything like that, but I'm still going to talk about the acceleration because it is quite quick. Like I said, 4.2 seconds, 4.9 if you get the rear-wheel drive long range. I've been told that there is a traction limiting thing, but if we just slow down to a decently slow speed and then mash it, you could see it's just insanely fast. Even the long range makes it so that you're just getting thrown into the seat. Now, of course, there's less power, so it dies off quicker than something like the Performance would. But Tesla's also focused a lot on fixing the issue where it's fast for the first 2 seconds and then it's not fast anymore. If you look at the performance numbers for these cars, they've done a lot to make sure that you consistently hit that power band and stay in the power band without really losing much of a performance at all, even though it is electric. That's something that Ford hasn't fixed with the Mach-E yet, but that's a story for another day. So Tesla's done a lot to improve the driving experience of this car, and you get to go fast while saving the environment, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's all. So those were my 5 things that I love about this car. Of course, I love the performance so much more because of everything that you get. It's this minus 40 miles of range and more performance, which I think is worth it. But I still think that this is a great all-rounder for the Tesla Model 3 lineup, especially with how they've done the new looks, the range and everything like that. And basically, it's still a really nice car for the money. Even though it starts at $47,000, that's cheaper than most cars for this level of luxury and I don't want to say refinement, but you know what I mean. But yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more from us, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.